Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, February 4th. It's a rainy, I guess it's just drizzly day today. It rained this morning, but I think the sun has come out a little bit. It's supposed to rain a little bit more tomorrow and also get cold, so my husband actually saw a forecast for snow tomorrow. So that would be fun if that happened. I don't know, don't necessarily hold my breath. But the last time it snowed here was 8 years ago when my younger son was a baby. We made a little snowman in the backyard and I brought him out. My older son and I made it and then brought my little guy out and held him up next to it, and he was about the same height as the little snowman when he was like 3 or 4 months old. So that was cute. And then we had a drought, so any cold weather we had was never associated with rain before. So now the drought's over and we're getting some cold temperatures, so fingers crossed. We might actually get some snow. That would be fun. Let's see, let's get into stitching. First off, I do have a little bit of haul. I got my Color and Cotton January threads of the month. Angela's colors never disappoint. I don't think I've ever had a pack show up where I was like, you know, like they've always been really pretty. So these are the 5 traditional, not traditional, the 5, I guess classic pack. Now of course the sun comes out right as I'm trying to show you colors. So this is Almond, which is pretty. Saguaro. Wow, that's, looks a lot more green in the picture. It's like a, it's like a reddy, reddish, tannish, brownish color. That is really bizarre how that is not, oh, weird. That's not green. It's like a clay reddish color. Anyways, it's really light, but pretty. Tuscan Sun and Vintage Valentine. That's really pretty. It's a little brighter. You're seeing it brighter than it is. It's a little more dusty than that, which I love. And Lapis, which is a fun color. So again, super happy with these. I still haven't put last month's on bobbins yet, but I mean, Angela wins again. Thank you, Angela. These are gorgeous as always, and I'm really happy that I started this thread club because all of these colors are gorgeous, so I just need more opportunities to use them, which I kind of am not allowing myself this year, but next year I will. So that'll be fun. And when I last spoke with you, I was working on Friends of the Library by Lucilla, and this is a needlepoint kit for my, not my last one of my projects for the cozy theme and full coverage fanatics. I think I showed you a little bit already where I got a little bit of gray and black done. The bottom, the next day, I don't think I got to work on it at all. And then I worked on it again the 3rd day of my rotation and did a little bit more. So this is what it looked like before. And, oh goodness. This is what it looks like now. And so I finished the black and gray that was touching the bottom and started in on this tan color, which is part of another book, I think. And I could have hopped up here to work in the cat's tail with this color, because there was some of this I was working on. But my thread ran out and I figured I would rather complete the bottom a little bit more before I go up. So now the bottom row of the whole design is 100% finished. And so I will keep working these colors, you know, as I go up. However, I was thinking, in my new rotation where I have a focus piece to meet a goal, and then I move on to the next one. I have 2 categories for other projects, not Golden Kite, not Hate, and not Fancy Lady. There's a couple that are just other, which is all my other projects. And I decided I still like the things I've chosen for both of those categories, but at the end of one of them, I decided I would put this in as the next thing to finish this kitty, would be my short-term goal on that one. So the next time I bring this out will be whenever that other category has met all those other goals that are ahead of it, and then we'll bring this out and finish this like book and the cat. That'll be my goal, I think, the next time, because that would be really fun. And it seems like the things I'm picking for these goals are things that have happened like this, where I had a desire to see more progress than I ended up getting, and so I want to give that project more love so that it can see it can see the goal that I had envisioned, or not really. I had no plans of finishing that cat this time around, but it goes really fast. I just didn't get a whole lot of time on that one, and midweek, this whole week was a little short on time. The weekend was fabulous, so I will share lots of fun projects and progress I had over the weekend, but the week was kind of busy. So the next thing I worked on, which also only saw 2 out of 3 days of stitching, because one day I didn't get to stitch. I don't think I stitched anything all day long on Wednesday, because I went to the park with my daughter and her friend instead of my travel stitching after kindergarten pickup. And then the evening was filled with family things and whatnot, so no stitching at all on Wednesday. But I got time on Tuesday and Thursday. So this is what I think Friends of the Library, I must have not got any time on it. Oh, that's right. I had missed this first day. I had planned to do something because I wanted to finish up Dragon Ride and Midsummer Roses. So I had only ended up with 2 days on Friends of the Library. So I did work on them both of those days, but not a lot on either day. And then Knitting Woman only got 2 days because Wednesday I didn't stitch at all. So this is Knitting Woman, and I felt like on the times I was working on her, I had made some good progress. It's hard to tell though, because the colors are also similar. So I'm hoping the before and after pictures show some difference, because without seeing that, it's hard to really tell, what I might have done. So this is what it looked like before, and here it is now. So hopefully you were able to see some fill-in right here. I was filling in on her sleeve with some of these colors, and some of them ran all the way down. This is actually almost the bottom of the 3rd row. The 2nd row ends about here, I think, which is my goal, is to kind of finish this page. But I am doing cross country, and in particular there was one color that I stitched down here, I stitched over here, I stitched even up over here a little bit, and down here, because it was a blended thread and I didn't feel like putting it back on 2 different bobbins, and so I just kept using it on all the other pages. So this particular spot didn't get like the progress that it could have seen if I were parking or something, or finishing my thread and putting it back on the bobbins as soon as I finished what was on the page. But I like the way I do it. In this case, it's just that particular goal is slower to see accomplished when I do it that way. So this one will come out after I finish the top row of Waterfall and Yosemite, and I'll bring it back out again to try to finish this page before, and that it comes to like here, before I put it away again. But it's really coming along. This is 22 count Aida, 2 over 1 half stitches, very light coverage, which I probably won't do again, but it looks good enough that I'm just going to keep going with it. And then that was the end of January. In February, on the 1st, I made some time to do some recharting on Simpsons Friday morning, because I really wanted to get some work done on this. And as I mentioned, I'm recharting the chart because there were a lot of issues with it, and it was cutting off like right here, and I wanted to be able to finish his face at least when I'm doing cross-country stitching. So I managed to do a few rows on my charting software on Friday mornings, and then I made myself stop so that I could actually have time to stitch on it on that day. Where is it? This one's tiny, so it gets lost. So this is what that looked like before. And here it is now. So there's Homer, looking a lot more, he has a lot more done. I did some more black, I believe, and I filled in his stubble with that color. And there's another a darker tan color that got some attention around the edges as well. So, pretty happy with that for one day. And this is 40 count even weave 1/1 half stitches. So it goes pretty quickly, and one string goes a really long way. So I am cutting the string and moving on when it gets beyond what I have charted, just so that I can keep making progress. But that's pretty. I'm pretty happy with that progress, and I do want to make more effort to finish charting that, because I really enjoy the process. Even though I'm doing it like a line of 10 symbols at a time, and I have a paper covering it, and I'm, one line at a time recharting. So it's a little bit tedious, but it is kind of fun because I don't really mind tedious. And I'm really excited to just have that project finished. So I'm hoping to make more time for that this month and get that finished. Or at least, maybe half the charted or something. That would be really nice. Then I worked on, I think that day, Friday, I charted some of Simpsons, I stitched some of Simpsons, and then I pulled out Storytime sampler for some home travel while my husband was reading to the kids, and I like to listen as well, so I was in there stitching, and I realized I was really close to a finish. There was no way I needed to keep dragging it out. I was like, oh yeah, I totally got this. I can finish this today. And then we ended up watching a movie after the kids went to bed. So I didn't get it finished Friday, but I did finish it Saturday. So I just went ahead and busted it out because it needed to be done. So here is what Storytime Sampler looked like before. And here it is, all done. Woohoo! I am so excited that this is finished. I think it turned out really, really cute. I love all the colors. They pop on this fabric. This is 32 count Lana Blue linen by MCG Textiles, and it is longer than it is wider, so these are more elongated than they might be on an actual even weave. It is bluer than it shows on camera. It looks more gray on camera, but that's alright. I think it turned out really cute. I like all of them. I did switch. This was going to be the Lady of Shalott, and I changed it to I moved Anne of Green Gables up here and then put Pride and Prejudice down here, which I kind of sort of altered from the Happily Ever After Sal that they did. So those are the changes that I made. Everything else is as charted, and I can show you a close-up of Little Women and Christmas Carol. So they turned out pretty cute. Lots of colors in her books, on her bookshelf. And there was even a one stitch of like gold for like a locket or something that I had missed when I did that color elsewhere, and it's a very similar symbol to the skin, so I just thought she had like a low-cut dress or something. I'm like, I don't know. Doesn't really fit the time, but you know, and then I realized that's a different color. Okay. So to go back and do that one stitch. But I think it turned out really cute, and I'm really, really happy it's done. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go yet in our house. But that's one more thing to finish. This is kind of a weird feeling. One more thing to frame, I mean. I don't usually have this many finishes at the same time, because I usually work on large projects more or less monogamously in the past, before Flosstube. And I would sometimes switch around, but then things would get, you know, just languish in the closet for years while I worked on other things, which is why I have a 20-year-old whip. But I now have Snow Queen to frame, I have Storytime sampler to frame, I have my stocking Christmas ice skaters to make into a pillow, I have a bunch of little, like the Little House Needleworks months to fully finish so that I can put them up every month. So there's a lot of things that I'm not used to having to do that many like fully finished framing projects all at the same time. So and then still keep stitching on the things I want to stitch on. So I see the struggle. The struggle is real. So anyways, that's the finish, and that's really exciting, which means on my actual rotation this month for that other category, I can skip right on ahead to Adventure Awaits. More about that in a minute, because Saturday I was able to work on Touchdown for my son's piece, and so I went ahead and did that. Got my normal time, pretty good time. I spent a lot of time stitching in the evening, which was nice. So this is what this looked like before, and here it is now. Get the blue color, and I worked on finishing the skin. He still has an arm down here that I haven't gotten to, but I need to count a ways to get there, so I decided just to wait on that. Finished all the stitching in his head, and he's got eyes in here too, but it's hard to see them when there's no backstitching. But I need to finish the jersey that's around his neck area before I can backstitch his head. So that's the plan. I got working on his shoulder here, and so next time I bring this out, I'll be working more on his jersey so that I can eventually get to backstitch his head. And I thought he's turned out pretty good. That's pretty good for one day. And on all of these days I've been working on my temperature pieces as well, alternating between the two of them. But on Sunday I was supposed to pull out Waterfall in Yosemite, and instead I pulled out Adventure Awaits by the Caterpillar Cross Stitch, because this is my new home travel piece, and we watched the Super Bowl yesterday, so I figured this would be easier to work on while we were watching than Waterfall, because Waterfall's in a binder, which is heavier, and it's a bigger piece of fabric, and highlighters are needed, and I'd be getting up and down periodically for snacks and for helping the kids and for, you know, whatever, making food. So I decided just to pull this out again, and then ended up not working on anything else. I could have maybe in the evening, but there wasn't a whole lot of time, so I just messed around instead. And then I was realizing last night or this morning that I'll just make this yesterday the first day of this rotation for my other category, and just shift my rotation to Waterfalls until after this is over. So that will start on Wednesday. So I'll work on Waterfall in Yosemite for 2 more days as part of my proper rotation this month. And this is what it looked like last time you saw it. And this is definitely tricky. And here it is now. So I had previously finished 5 of the 6 clues, and need to start North America, which was clue 6. So I started up here. I had charted a penguin to go down here because my daughter loves penguins, and it just felt like it needed it. And then Rita Marie charted a polar bear for the North Pole, and I thought, you know what, he is adorable. So she would graciously shared her polar bear with me, and I stitched him during the Super Bowl yesterday. And now that I am done with him, I'm going to go ahead and do all the outlining of all the land and color complete as I go for the rest of the clue. So that's how I've done the other clues, and I really like how that works when you get the framework in, and then it's easier to count to color complete the rest of the clue. So that's where that is now, so I will get 2 more days on that, and it'll come out for 3 days every month until it's finished. And it will also be used for home travel stitching in addition to the proper rotation. So hopefully it won't take too much more time to get that finished. Then, what happened then? I guess I can talk about my other things now. So yeah, my temperature pieces I've been working on every other day. Today is my day to update my quilt. So I realized I totally forgot to show this last time. So last time you just have some still pictures. Oops. I keep these in one bag. This is a bag from, as you can see, from Hobby Lobby that had fabric in it, and probably the bag that this piece of fabric came in. And I've just put them both in here. And so last time I believe I took the balloons out, left the quilt in the bottom, and then forgot to show this one and just put the balloons right back in. So this time I'm taking them both out, and I will try to remember to show you both of them. So this is what the still picture was from the last time you saw my quilt, and here it is now. January is finished. Yeah, this is nice blue fabric, so it definitely works better back there. But to see the stitching, January is all the way finished. That's right there will be the bottom of the design because there'll be some sashing down here as well. It's cut longer than it needs to be, but I just cut the fabric in half. Not in half, but I cut it in with one slice for the 2 pieces, and figured it was fine if it was too long. So, and then one block on February has been started, and I also did half a length of my sashing color, which is Fresh Wool by Color and Cotton, and I did the inside sashing this past time because I want to butt this up against this. I would rather stitch February with the stashing in place than stitch February and then put the stashing in after the fact. So, because then I would have more, stitches that I'd have to stitch with surrounding stitches already finished, which I don't like to do. So my next one today, I'll put in 2 more blocks and then do another half length down on this side. I decided with most of the time with Fancy Floss, a lot of brands will pre-cut their floss for 1 to 1 yard lengths, which I'll generally use, especially if it's 2/2. But even with 1/1, if I'm working on the Little House Needleworks pieces or what else? I thought there was something else. If I'm working on other little things that are 1/1 on 28 count, it doesn't necessarily bother me. I'll just keep stitching. And it doesn't necessarily even bother me on this. However, because I'm stitching these in small chunks in addition to other projects that I would really like time on the same day, I'd rather only do a short length of sashing or the clouds and things on this one, like the extra stuff. I only work on, sorry, something's in my mouth. I only want to work on part of it every day, not like, and I don't want to have to leave the string hanging on my needle just in case the following time I work on it, I don't have as much time. I just want to do 1 block, So I don't know. I just figured I'll go ahead and cut these in half. The variegation is not, it's there, but it's not so distinct that if I usually don't like to cut Fancy Floss because then the variegation will mess up a little bit more in the middle where I've cut it. And so with this one, I don't think it matters that much, so I'm just going to go ahead and only do half a length each time, and I think it'll be better for conserving my time and being able to go back and forth without feeling like I'm where I'm taking away time from my other projects. So this is temperature balloons, which this is what that looked like before, and here it is now. With a nice blue fabric, and we had a nice hot patch. It got up to I think 78, and then now it's back into the 50s. So, and who knows what it's going to be on those colder days. It's supposed to get to 32 overnight, but this is just highs, so I'm not sure what the high will be on those colder days. If they'll be, this one was in the 40s, like 48 or something. That was the coldest one so far this year. So maybe it'll get back down to that again. I'm curious on my quilt what those cold temperatures are going to look like. I think I might have already used my coldest temperature on my quilt, but possibly not. So we'll have to see. I'm using the hot or warm, like the hot range for both of my designs because of living in Southern California, and it gets really hot and it usually doesn't get very cold. So this is how mine are turning out using that hottest one. I feel like I'm not really cohesive today, so hopefully this is all not too choppy. I also have been working a little bit on my travel project in the car, which is Little House Needleworks October. And this is what that looked like last time. And here it is now. This is also 1/1 on 28 count, using the called for fancy flosses, which come in the package. And I have completely finished the inside and starting work on the border. And there is, I have all these little flowers done, so now I need to do all the leaves, and then there's actually a vine, like a stick border around the outside as well. So hopefully I can get that done this week, and then be able to move on to July and August is my next two that I'm going to do. I know I had previously wanted to do November and December, but that was when it was December. So now that holidays are over and it's coming into the spring fairly soon, I think these will be really pretty colors to work on in the next few months. So I'm going to do this one next, and then the November and December one after that, which will be, then I'll be all done. So this will be fun. Definitely get these done this year. One more whip to check off. I finally put these on my whip list as one whip for all 12 of them. So that'll feel good to have that finished. I guess I'll go ahead and tell you my plans for this coming week, and then I'll share some other random things some updated plans and other little curiosities that I found out about this week. So I will be working on Waterfall in Yosemite starting on Wednesday, and I'll be working on that for 6 days. Yeah, I won't get to that until Monday, so I won't show you that. On Thursday is my day to work on my S Ferry, so I'll work on that on Thursday. And then Monday I'll work on my aunt's piece, Quick Stitch Iris by Heaven and Earth Designs, but I'll wait and show you that because I'll probably film on Monday. But Yosemite will go all the way until next Wednesday because I'll work on it for a whole week really. So because I'll be breaking it up with these other ones. So Waterfall in Yosemite will get a total of 6 days. This is where it's at right now. And my goal is to finish this top row. I will not get it done this month. So this particular month, my goal is to make good progress on this top row. It'd be nice to get at least a couple columns, maybe more, because I want to be able to tackle this goal and finish it and move on to another piece. So I do want to give this some love over the next week. So that's where that's at right now. And I will also be working on my S Fairy for one day on the 7th. And that's right here. This is where that's at right now. Hopefully I'll get more on it. Last time I only got like one length of thread done right here in the middle, but hopefully I can get a little bit more done on that. Be nice to maybe finish her wing and work more on the S, but it is just one day, so we'll see what my expectations can be. If I get tired of working with blending filament before the wing is finished, I might just work on her S a little bit and, you know, maybe do a length in both or something if I have time. So that is fun. I love that you can make significant, noticeable progress on these in one day, even if it's just one length of thread, because they're such small, cute designs. So if you are, if you like Mirabilias, but you're intimidated by their size, try a Nora Corbett pattern, because the same designer, Nora Corbett, also designs Mirabilias, but the patterns that say Nora Corbett on them are smaller than Mirabilias. So that is a clue for you that it won't be quite as time intensive as a Mirabilia, but it still has the delicate designing and the pretty shading and Kreinik and beads and things like that, just on a smaller scale. So that's a good way to get your feet wet if you haven't taken the plunge to try a Mirabilia yet. So that's my plan for this coming week. It should be pretty straightforward. Couple more days on adventure awaits, and then Waterfall in Yosemite and my S Fairy. So I wanted to do a couple shout outs real quick. Two fairly new people to Flosstube. One is Amy Yo Stitcher. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but she is from Sweden, and I've been following her on Instagram, and she has maybe 5 videos out now. I think I've only seen 2, but I think they're her first 2, because I'm still almost a month behind. I think I'm like less than 4 weeks now. I think the videos were saying 3 weeks. So I'm almost 4 weeks behind. I'm hoping to keep chipping away at that, though. I really want to get back caught up to be less than a week behind. Because I like seeing things when they're more current, and to feel like I'm more involved in everybody's lives and stitching. But I hate skipping around. There's so many good Flosstubers that I watch. It's like I can't just watch my favorites and save the rest till later, because they're all my favorites. So I'm just plugging away chronologically, and so I'll get caught up eventually. The other one I wanted to share is Colette, the highway stitcher. She just put out her first Flosstube video, and she lives in Utah. Only I met her at the Southern California Cross Stitchers Retreat in September, because she used to live here and got involved in that group of stitchers when she lived here. So she comes back for the retreats still. And so I got to meet her there, and she just put out her first video, so you can go check that out, and she did great. So it's fun to have another person that I know in real life come and start doing videos. So that's been fun. I saw her name in one of the comments on my last video and noticed it looked a little different, so I went to investigate and said, oh, she did it. Because she had mentioned at the retreat she was thinking about starting videos, but hadn't taken the plunge yet, so she finally did it. So go check her out. And the other thing I noticed, I was watching Heather, Link is my homeboys. The most recent video I have seen of hers, or maybe the second oldest, I don't know. It was back in early January, probably. She was talking about her plans for the new year and how she is going to work on certain, she's kind of categorized her projects into sizes. And so she'll work on certain things in certain sizes at different times and rotate through things, making sure she's making progress on the different sizes of projects, which I thought I was like, you know what, I'm curious to see where my projects fall as far as size. Her size categories were 100, less than 100 by 100 is considered small. Then her medium was 100 by 100 through to 200 by 200. And then large was 200 anything over 200 by 200. And when I did that in my categories, I realized I had an exact even split between small and medium and large. I had 5 small, 22 medium, and 27 large, which is 27 in the small medium and 27 in the large, which is why I have a hard time finishing things because all of my projects are huge. And then she came back to my comment and said that I probably have some extra large things as well, which would be over 400 by 400, and she just doesn't have any in that category. And so then I rehashed, and it's true. I have 17 large, which is 200 by 200 to 400 by 400, and then extra large is anything over 400 by 400, which I have 10 of. So that is my breakdown of whips. And that was actually while I still had Storytime Sampler. So I have one less medium. I think Storytime Sampler is probably a medium. So now I have 53 whips, but still quite a few. And something I keep getting questions about Arbitrary August. With my new plans that I've been talking about off and on over the last few weeks, I've had several comments. What am I going to do for Arbitrary August? And I've had a couple thoughts on that, and my most recent idea is that in keeping with my desire to make progress on focus pieces and to kind of pick one like Jessie Marie does, for pick one from each designer and work on it until I meet a goal or finish, I decided for Arbitrary August I will pick one piece from every designer that I have represented in my whip list and put those in my wheel for a spin. I'll probably just do the spinning Tiny Decisions app this year, not a bowl, and let that be my Arbitrary August and spin the wheel with those pieces. And I looked through, and I had at the time 26 different brands represented. Now I have 25 because the Storytime Sampler was my only Frosted Pumpkin piece. So I have 25 brands represented in my cross-stitching whips right now. And so I will put one from each brand in my wheel, and since there's 31 days in August, there will be repetitions. And it seems like the wheel likes to repeat things anyways, so it'll definitely be arbitrary. But that's my plan at this point. The number might be even lower by then if I finish a few things before then, which hopefully will happen. So that is my plan now for Arbitrary August. I think it was fun to vlog the daily, spins, so maybe I'll try to do that again and see what it spins and do my Arbitrary August again using the focus idea. And then my stitching shelf, my Stitch Mania plans. Where'd my little thing go? I already filled in my May. It is in pencil, so I can change my mind if I want to. But my Mania plans at this point are set. I decided I am continuing to love the idea to do a new start every day on a stitching shelf for 19 days because it's 2019, and then spend the rest of the month doing Mirabilia Mania. And I realized there are 12 days in the month after the 19 new starts is over. I have 6 Mirabilias on the go. That's very convenient math. 2 days on each Mirabilia. So what I've done is I'm just going to go, let's show you here. I'm going to go across the rows in vignettes, one every day. And I'm going to use the hourglass as a vignette as well because there's only 18 sets of people. Somebody like this, like the stitching shelf, or the Stitcher's Retreat, or this one, counts as one. There's 2 people in it, but that's one vignette. And so there was 18 of those, I'm making the hourglass number 19. So the first day I'll do this lady, then this lady, then this lady, I'll go along doing that. And I think that'll help with counting as well. And all the way across like that. And that'll be 19 days, one on each. And And then I will do alphabetically 2 days on each of my Mirabilias. I've got Adia the Garden Fairy, Ashley's Roses, Lady of the Flag, Stargazer, Villa Mirabilia, and Winter Queen. And they'll each get 2 days. So that's my mania plans at this point. Still could change, but I think I'm really happy with that at this point, because then I can do some new start craziness and some Mirabilia craziness. So that'll be fun. It'll put both Mania and Arbitrary August will put my traditional plans on hold. But I think every rotation probably needs a little bit of, a vacation now and then, just to keep things fresh and interesting. So I think it'll be okay. And I'll have June and July in the middle there to go back to focus pieces. So that's my plans for those 2 times at the moment. So I will sign off now and hope you get a wonderful stitching week and enjoy whatever progress you get done. And I hope to see you again next week. Happy stitching! Bye.